screen.
What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who bring the best to you each morning. The widest choice of cereals in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
If you'd like to read a funny book that the whole family will enjoy, the title of one that I'd like to suggest is The Question Man. And the author, I'm happy to say, is going to be the panelist on my left, our adored Steve Allen.
Thank you. And on my left tonight is a lady who's been on my left before, and it's always been very pleasant, the lovely Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, sitting in for our vacationing Bennett Cerf is my producer, actor Martin Gable.
And on my left, our own question man, John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What's My Line. It's nice to have Steve Allen back again. Don't know whether his Breg box is with him or not, but we kind of hope so. And Steve will be glad to know that the rules haven't changed. We have only one mission, and that's to confound the panel if possible. We'll also have a famous mystery guest a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after this. And now let's meet our first challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Cordelia? Cordelia Sharp, is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Sharp?
Mrs.
Mrs. Sharp?
Yes.
And where are you from, Mrs. Sharp?
Florence, Alabama.
Florence, Alabama. Well, it's nice to have you here with us. And you have your own plaque with you. You're lucky, you see. May I present the panel, Sharp?
Hello, Mrs. Sharp.
Join me over here. You know how we keep score?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you know how we keep score, we have the very pleasant task now, letting our audience in the theater and those at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we will tell you that Mrs. Sharp is salaried, and just to get him back into harness, I think we ought to start things off with Steve Allen.
Oh, dear. Hope I have it all straight. Is there a product connected with what you do, Miss Sharp?
No.
That's a good way to get into harness. That's one down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Mrs. Sharp, do you work for a profit-making organization? No.
No.
I said it before you did.
That's right. That's right. You did say it before Mrs. Sharp did. That makes it 2 down and 8 to go.
Do you work for a government, Mrs. Sharp, or a charitable organization of some kind?
Yes.
Is it a government?
Yes.
Is your work done outside the state of Alabama?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I'm going to be the only one in this panel to get a yes. On Mrs. Sharp. Do you do your work inside of Alabama, Mrs. Sharp? Do you work for something other than the state government of Alabama?
Yes.
Do you work for some local government?
Yes.
Would it be considered a city government rather than a county government?
Yes.
Have you an executive position?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Is your job the sort that is ordinarily taken care of by a man?
I didn't hear you.
Well,
Forget
Steve's
it.
been away. Steve's been away from us a long time. This is only his second week back in harness, you see.
Is your job something that would ordinarily be filled by a man?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with the law?
Yes.
Am I under arrest for making these absurd comments? Are you Lady Judge, by any chance?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have anything whatsoever to do with the police force?
Yes.
Do you ever wear a uniform?
Yes.
Would you be a policewoman?
Yes. Well,
Why aren't you?
Well, I have to guess where and how, like on a motorcycle or in a...
There you
On a
are.
motorcycle.
Mrs. Sharp is a fully qualified policewoman with the Department of Police in Florence, Alabama. Yes, Dorothy?
that has a product, tickets.
Well, we've had a lot of trouble trying to determine whether we consider a ticket properly a product.
I was only
And-
joking, really.
I should
I
think
know
they'd
you.
all be terribly pleased to have you stop them wherever you ride around.
That should be true, but I don't think it'll ever happen that way. Mrs. Sharp. Do you find that most of the people, I hope you don't have to stop many for speeding, but those you do stop, do you find that they resent it, or do they take so much surprise from the fact that it's an attractive woman motorcycle policeman that they say, give me the ticket, I'm happy to receive it?
Usually they're very nice.
They're very nice. I don't see how there could be anything else myself. Thank you. You've been very nice on What's My Line, and it's nice to have had you as a guest. Thank you for being here. And now let's see what we can do with the second challenger. An excellent beginning panel. Would you sign in, please? Lynn? Lynn Brown, right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Brown? Mrs. Brown, and where are you from?
Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, Canada. Nice to have somebody from our great sister nation to the north. Must say, may I present our panel, Mrs. Brown?
How do you do?
Would you join me here? Do you know how we keep score, Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
In that event, we'll let our audience here and that at home look for a moment at exactly what your line is. All right. Once again, panel, Mrs. Brown is self-employed, and let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mrs. Brown, is there any product connected with what you do?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Gable.
You do most of your work indoors, Mrs. Brown.
Yes.
Do you own something in connection with your profession?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen. That was, do you own something? No. That's 2 down.
Or rent something? Well, it's too late.
No, it's a bit late.
Mrs. Brown, if the members of this panel went to Vancouver, could all of us enjoy whatever it is you do?
No.
No?
No, I think we would have to say, the members of the panel, if you all went to Vancouver, could all of you enjoy no? 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Allen. At least not without upsetting things.
Are your services, therefore, ordinarily limited, or at least specialized in one sex or the other?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Would other people consider the work that you do a little difficult or unpleasant in any way?
Difficult, but not unpleasant.
But we wouldn't enjoy them.
Now, you must remember the context of that question as it was asked. I can't go into
Yes.
any more detail.
All right. And when you perform this service, you do perform it indoors.
Yes.
Do you perform it in one place rather than going around to different places?
Yes.
Is it your own place of work?
Yes.
Do you have any formal training for your particular job?
Yes.
Well, now, let's not mislead here. There is certainly an element of training necessary and required, but we wouldn't want you to assume from this affirmative answer that a specific degree of some kind is necessary. Would you agree with that, sir?
Then we wouldn't refer to Mrs. Brown as doctor or anything like that.
No.
No. Do people come to you for your help?
Yes, they do.
Do you teach them anything or advise them in any way?
Sometimes.
Do you touch them in any way?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gable.
You give them mental help of some kind.
Yes.
This, in a very, very broad sense, we would have to agree that there's an element of mental health possible.
Do you deal with children more than with adults?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Brown, do you deal more with unmarried people than with married people?
Yes.
Is that why you feel that none of us on the panel would be inclined to use your services?
Yes.
Oh, marriage.
Do you have anything to do with matchmaking or marriage counseling?
Yes.
Are you a matchmaker?
Very good, panel. I don't know. Steve comes back, and he's this is the second week with us, and brilliant's pouring out all over the place. I think you've been holding secret meetings while Steve's been in town. Somebody got to stop. But that was wonderful. That was loads of
She's
fun.
using telepathy.
I call your attention, John. It's the ladies that have been brilliant this evening.
Well, I always like to see where the inspiration for brilliance lies. And I'm sure the ladies wouldn't contest that the inspiration here. Well, I guess they might, so I won't raise
No,
the question.
no, we
Take
wouldn't.
care of that. Well, I must say, Mrs. Brown, it's been very nice to have a guest from Canada, and I trust you enjoyed your visit with us as much as we've enjoyed having you.
Certainly did.
Thank you. Will you say good night to the panel? We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends on the panel are always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds in place, panel? Mm-hmm. Yes. Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery guest, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a motion picture star?
Aye. Mr. Allen?
Or was that a yes or a
That
no?
was aye. That means yes.
Aye.
Have you any connection with the field of comedy?
Aye. Miss Francis?
And the field of the theater?
Aye. Mr. Gable?
Were you born in England?
Aye. Miss Kilgallen?
Do you have a title?
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Would you like to have a title? I have influence. Let me see. Are you currently in a play on Broadway?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
I have to admit that my husband did I think, say a name, and I think it ought to be said again. Are you by any chance Charles Lawton?
I have a bone to pick with you. You
No.
cost me a lot of money.
I did?
A lot of money. I'll never carry your bag again. I traveled on a plane with Miss Kilgallen to the coast, and when I got to the coast, my wife said, "What a beautiful fur coat."
And you have been fighting a good losing fight, I think.
Not at all. I've been, on the contrary, I must say that I've been trying to persuade her to buy one, but she saw Dorothy Kilgallen's fur coat, and she fell for having a fur coat. I'm very grateful to you.
Hope she never sees Arlene's fur coats.
Well, I'm a bit... yes, Dorothy.
I just wanted to say to Mr. Lawton, I was grateful to him for being such a charming traveling companion. But did you know you were coming on this show at that time?
No. I did not. I did not. I've only been fixed up in about the last, 48 hours.
I do wish, Mr. Lawton, you wouldn't say fixed up. That's a very
Oh, I beg your pardon. My God. It's only been arranged, is that right?
That's much better. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure you wouldn't have told me anyway, and I wouldn't have listened if you had.
I didn't quite hear you.
I said I'm sure you wouldn't have told me even if you did know, and I wouldn't have listened if you had. I was just joking.
I really did not know, honestly. I really promise you.
Well, I'm surprised to find that you were going to the coast. I thought that you were in England.
But I was in England all last year. I was playing Shakespeare at Stratford-on-Avon.
Oh, wonderful. Was it the Stratford Company?
Yes. I played King Lear and Midsummer Night's Dream. It was quite a wonderful season there last year. There was Sir Laurence Olivier and Paul Robeson, Edith Evans, Harry Andrews. It was quite a thing last year.
You didn't happen to bring the company with you so that we could have the joy of it, but...
No, but we did take a television tape of Midsummer Night's Dream, and I'm very pleased to say it's turned out really splendidly, and it's going to be shown later on. I think we are...
Will it be shown here or just in England?
No, only here.
Oh, shown only here?
Only here. And I'm going back in 1961, and in early 1962 we're going to bring one of the Falstaff plays. Guess who's playing Falstaff? And King Lear, and another play with me. Not only we're going to tour 6 months round. So we shall all, you'll have your knife out for us.
No, I must say that the nation will be the richer for it. And I would say, if I may, as one final word, I've not had the opportunity to see you for a long time, but I'm sure you noticed the wonderful response that came with just the fact of your name and your appearance on the stage tonight, a mark of the affection that we hold you in this country. And
Thank you very much.
I think it's nice to have you with us, particularly on a Sunday night.
Thank you. I would like to say to you that my wife and I enjoy you every week.
Oh.
We just adore all of you.
Thank you.
Miss Kilgallen, Steve, of course, and Arlene Francis and Martin Gable. Never, never, never do we miss What's My Line.
Oh, thank you very much.
And that isn't fair. Thank you very much.
Well, I must say you've done very well indeed so far tonight, panel, and we'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. Now, I think the odds will be slightly in our favor from here on. And will you come in and sign in, please, the next challenger? Right there, please. Tobias Cohen. Is that right, sir? Mr. Cohen, where are you from?
Bayside, Long Island.
Bayside, Long Island. May I present our distinguished panel? Panel, may I just present the distinguished Mr. Cohen, because we're going to stick you with Mr. Cohen. Will you come over here and sit down and join me? Do you know how we keep score?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, let's let the audience in the theater and the folks at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we will tell you that Mr. Cohen is salaried, and we'll begin the general questioning with Martin Gable.
Mr. Cohen, there's a sensitive quality about your face. Is there anything spiritual in relating to your profession?
No, sir.
One down and 9 to go. Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Cohen, is there a product involved in what you do?
Yes.
Is it a useful product rather than purely decorative or luxurious?
I would say so.
Would it be found in the home?
I don't think so.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Can it be used by men as well as women?
Yes.
Can it be used by children?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
And it's found out of doors.
Yes.
Is that the place for it?
It should be.
Yes.
Is it a large product?
Give us a relative factor.
Larger than Steve Allen's bread box?
A little larger than Steve Allen's bread box.
Uh-huh. Does it have any moving parts?
Yes.
Are they larger than Steve Allen's? No. Are they mechanical?
Yes.
Does it hold something?
Yes.
Is it used at all in a game or as an amusement of some kind?
No. No. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gate.
Is it used for traveling in any way?
Yes.
Could it be described as a carrier?
You mean to the sense that it would always contain something?
Not always, but could it contain people?
Yes. Yes.
Well, is it an automobile?
No. No. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it something other than an animal?
Yes. What kind of animal contains people? That's what lions.
A mean grizzly bear.
This is a satisfied lion we're discussing.
It has mechanical parts, though.
Well, you know, you can't trust anybody on this program.
Dorothy, do you know the wonderful story about the wonderful old missionary who meets the lion in the path?
No.
And he's so old he can't run away, so he falls to his knees and begins to pray for deliverance, and he opens one eye because nothing happens, and the lion is there in posture of prayer too, and opens up an eye and sees the missionary's eyes open. He says, I don't know what you're doing, Father, but I'm saying grace.
All right,
I don't know
John.
what. Just the thought of people at lions. I got on this thing.
Well, say a prayer for me tonight because I'm about to get a no. All right. Is there metal involved in whatever this is that you're connected with?
Yes.
Would you say it was chiefly metal?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Would you say it was chiefly metal?
Yes.
Now, in answer to someone's question, you said it was a little larger than Steve Allen's bread box. Do you really mean that it's quite a good deal larger?
Yes.
Could it hold more than one person?
Yes.
Could it hold more than 2?
Yes.
Would it ever be used by a public means of transportation?
Let us say, I think the point that you're getting at, Dorothy, is...
She struck oil.
No, but you did say it had something to do with amusement, didn't you?
We said it had nothing to do with amusement.
You want to take back that gas?
To answer your previous question, I think it's fair to say that it would not, in its normal use, be a public carrier, but it could be seconded over to such use.
Could be what?
Beg your pardon?
Does the accent go from the penult to the anti-penult?
Of course.
Oh.
It could be transposed.
It
or
could, in
converted.
certain exigencies,
War, famine.
that sort of thing, yes.
Does it travel on something other than solid ground?
Does it travel
Ever.
on something other than solid ground? Yes.
Does it ever go above ground?
Above ground?
Yes.
Which it's not traveling on, you mean? Oh!
Up.
No.
Oh.
No. That makes it 6 down. This is wonderful. I knew I'd get you with it.
Travel on water?
Yes.
Some kind of a craft that people get into,
Yes.
such as metalworking or something of that sort.
Oh, Steve.
Sorry. I have been away a long time, haven't I? Is it something that one rows?
No. No, we've run out of time. I've got to have
Is
a
it a
second.
ferry, John?
No, but Martin, you inadvertently you got it a bit ago when you said a carrier. Because you see, Mr. Cohen sells used aircraft carriers, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and sundry other parts to the United States Navy.
I just happen to need an aircraft
You
carrier.
just it's an aircraft carrier.
And I have a
think
pair of
must
very long
explain.
oars for you, Martin.
Mr. Cohen is the sales contracting officer. Thank you, Mr. Cohen, very much. Nice to have you on What's My Line. Now, we'll be back again next week, and this is to say good night, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Steve.
Good night, Dorothy. Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Steve. Good night, Martin.
Good night, Arlene.
Good night,
Night,
Bennett.
John.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
Martin. Good night, Bennett, wherever you are, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Dixon and Bill Cotton. The preceding program was pre-recorded.
Hello, everybody. This is Kate Smith with an invitation for you to join us for a half hour of the music that you will like best tomorrow evening on most of these stations.